popular one, neither the athlete. I am a geek of these times. However, I have always felt that I am destined for more. Now, at the age of 27, already married and with 2 daughters, through this story that I share with my friend Juan Quinones, I would like to tell you about my experience, a revelation that I had at one point, and about which I hope you can believe it, since it is the word of an honest man, and I do not seek to profit in any way from what is said here. It is important that what I will relate below, rather than being fully accepted, should be debated, discussed, but not absolutely rejected. It is better to taste the bitter drink of the truth than to live a lifetime surrounded by lies. Lies which will not only die with me, in old age I hope, but will also continuing, being manifested in my daughters, in their sons, and from generation to generation if a radical change is not promoted. The negative thing here is that the lies which I am referring to will not only be with me and my family. If somehow you, dear reader, are a believer, they will go after you, to your children, to their children, and will continue from one generation to another. Perhaps, dear reader, you are an agnostic or an atheist, and if so, I kindly ask you to stay and read my story. As I do not expect conversion from you, the world will continue whether you believe or not in God. But the forces that belong to the world are those that must be revealed, as they operate in the shadows. They are silent like the snakes, and they hide as the rats do. And these are the forces that hold back the progress of man, regardless of our beliefs, our religion, or lack of these. Let us begin. 2. The Antichrist. I was doing my homework that day. I felt as I was automated writing on my computer, but being also efficient and distant at the same time. A movie came to my mind, that one called The Omen, where a child had a mark on his head, a mark which was the number of the beast. How can someone have a birthmark that is a number? So I went looking on the internet. The internet was the best way I had for looking to answers. And somehow, if the question I was asking was not well structured, then the answer was difficult to find, leaving more doubts than solutions. Something went through my mind at that moment. What if numbers could be transformed into letters? What if 666 was a number that has a coded word? Noticing this, I sent a WhatsApp message to Virginia. She used to self-describe her as an esoteric girl. Virginia, a friend and classmate from my high school, was raised by her father. Her mother had migrated to Spain when Virginia was barely 3 years old, and they had little or no contact, apart from a few calls near Christmas or New Year's Eve. Virginia and we weren't very close. In fact, if someone didn't socialize in high school, it was her. Although she did have a group of friends, some hers, and other of her cousins who she lived with. They used to get together on weekends to go partying. Despite this, and since she described herself as esoteric, we frequently talked about various experiences I had during my last 3 years of school. I told Virginia one day that we should discover what was beyond that number. Nodding, she indicated that she knew something, since her father was of the Rosicrucian order, and that within her knowledge, what she could tell me was that not only were 666 the number, but other researchers said that it could be 616 as well. I searched again in my web browser. For each answer, the web browser popped me 10 more questions. And I was able to see a video in my search. Indeed, Virginia was right, and that number could also be 616. The documentary I saw mentioned that these two numbers, 666 and 616, were a reference to Nero Caesar, ancient Roman emperor, and that the reckoning for this analogy was through gematria. I proceeded to look for another web page where I could calculate the gematria. And after finding a gematria page, I searched on Wikipedia for the name of Nero Caesar in Hebrew. With the name Nero Caesar copied onto my clipboard, I put it into the online gematria calculator, and it gave me that number. What was stated in the documentary I saw